What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
My man, JC, what's up, baby?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, and we are here to live Moss. We're here to celebrate the two greatest things. What are those two things, Justin? Please do tell me, enlighten me.
In no particular order, the NBA and Taco Bell.
You know, it's weeks like this last one that just remind me of how absolutely delicious and delightful it is to follow the NBA. We've had incredible storylines, some fantastic finishes, just absolutely dominant individual performances. We've got so much to talk about. Where do we even start?
Well, first I'd like to say happy 3-1 day, brother. I don't know if you celebrate, but I know I sure do.
How do you celebrate 3-1 day?
Well, today's March 1st, 3-1. It's just a reminder of the most improbable comeback in the greatest NBA Finals history.
Okay.
And I just want the viewership to know out there that today is a day worth celebrating for Cavs fans, LeBron fans, and the greatest championship of all time. So I won't take too much more airtime up with that, as I know it turns out our viewer, but here we are.
You know, you really had to reel me in on that one. I had no idea where you were going, but I should have known. I should have known. And I'm sure you're wearing the shirt, right? You've got the
well. I mean, I don't want to, expose.
Don't want to rub it in.
Yeah, I just, it's something I like to wear to bed, keep me sweet dreams at night. It's like a dream catcher, but
Gotcha.
Instead of catching all the bad dreams, it just reminds me of all the good times.
Nice. Okay, on that note, good times. I want to talk about good times for the Dallas Mavericks, who recently overcame a 19-point deficit to none other than the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, from one choke job to another. I couldn't be happier.
In Golden State. What a choke.
What a lead in.
The Mavs go on a 23-1 run to take a lead with like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Absolutely wild finish. And that was Luka's 23rd birthday, which is just insane. Insane, this Mavericks team.
I hope that they could just get anybody with a recognizable name to play on the court with him, and Dallas could be a legitimate threat. But they've got about 10 guys most people have never even heard of. And the ones that you have, you're like, why is he starting in the NBA? So my hat's off to Luka, but get that brother some help.
So Warriors, let's talk about these two teams for a second. Pull up the standings right quick here. We've got the Warriors are sitting at number 2 in the West. They're 6 games behind the Suns. And then our Mavs are currently sitting at 5th, 36-25, tied with same record as the Nuggets. So I'm curious, Justin, to hear, based on what you're seeing from this Warriors squad, where do you think they end the regular season? What's their seeding headed into the playoffs?
I don't see them being lower than the 3 seed. I think maybe Memphis catches them. I don't know. Memphis is just playing lights out. So I don't really think that they are going to fall lower than the 3 seed, but I don't know. I guess the 4 seed's not that far out of reach, but yeah, I think they stay either 2 or 3, which I never would have guessed at the start of the year. And then the fact that we have no idea if Draymond Green's ever going to play basketball again. Sorry, I'm confusing him with Zion. No, It's basically the same. Yeah, I don't know. I would have thought with how much time Klay Thompson was going to miss with a younger core with Kuminga, Wiseman. I mean, I don't know. They somehow got Wiggins to the all-star starter, but it's just, I don't know. Hoping they've run out of gas and they crash and burn, because that would be delightful. But
you and me both. I think we would love nothing more than to see them bomb out of the first round of the playoffs.
First round loss, gone fishing would be so funny on NBA on TNT, but I don't know. Hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and we are, you brought up the Grizz. I would love to see the Grizz overtake the Warriors, claim that number 2 seed going into the playoffs.
Which would also play into the fact that should they overtake the 2 seed and the Lakers somehow win the play-in tournament and face the Grizzlies in the first round, I think would be the best chance they have at perhaps winning a game in the first round. So
against the Grizzlies, you think?
Not winning the series. I just mean winning a game or two. Okay. I don't know. I think facing a team that's younger that hasn't been there before, if they are somehow healthy, that a healthy LeBron and AD can at least save some face. But that's a big if, because at this rate, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, Zion Williamson, Greg Oden, who's to say there's a difference?
Harsh words. Holy cow. What's that stat, Justin, about
Dude,
Zion behind
Zion on pace to play. He's on pace to play no more games this year, because I don't know. I had to dig this picture up from like witness protection on the back of a milk carton, and he will have played in his first 3 seasons just 3 more games than Greg Oden played in his first 3 seasons. And that is just insane. We talked about this like a month ago or a couple weeks ago, or I don't know. I feel like we've brought it up a couple times this season, but at this rate, Ja Morant goes number 2 to Zion Williamson. And is there a single person in the league that would draft it that way right now? Like, there's just no way. Ja Morant is what, second for MVP, I would say, at the moment in the league. Like, and possibly Zion is pulling a Greg Oden. I don't know. That's crazy to me.
I think a lot of that was just the crazy media hype and narrative that Zion had coming out of, I mean, his college career where he played. Like a lot of that is starting to fade now that Ja is playing so well, but it is pretty absurd to look back on. So
I hope he plays more, because
yeah. I think everyone wants him to, including the Pelicans.
Yeah.
But
the cachet is gone.
He may never play another game for the Pelicans. It certainly seems like he doesn't have any urgency to really be anywhere close to New Orleans. I don't even know where the guy is. Where is he?
Nobody does.
Yeah. Like, leave him
Zion
alone.
Williamson, last seen on a milk carton. Hope you turn up soon, brother.
So I want to go back to the Grizzlies and talk a little bit more about Ja freaking Morant and how insane, how transcendent his game has been. And I loved, even as a Spurs fan, I loved seeing him demolish the Spurs last night, putting up 52 points, setting a franchise record for the Grizzlies of scoring 50 or more points in a single game. His teammates were loving it. He was loving it. You had Steven Adams chucking a full court pass.
Oh, for crying out loud.
In the corner.
You had to get Steven Adams in there.
That guy have to get Steven Adams.
Bum.
I got to get the whole team. It was a team effort. Afterwards, he acknowledges his whole team, enabling him, getting him open, them saying, "You're scoring tonight. This is your game." His dunk on Jakob Pertl. Oh, it is incredible. This man can shoot. This man can finish at the rim. I can't tell you how many times his two moves that I love watching the most. The first one, he can finish from any angle under the basket. The number of times I've seen his like 360 layups with one hand or the other. And then the second thing that I've more recently really started to appreciate is his hesitation fake pass dribble. Have you seen that move when he pulls it out where he freezes the big, that just for that slight moment it throws him off because they're going to defend the pass, and boom, he's right up there for the layup finish. His game is so sweet right now, and it is absolutely delightful to watch.
So I don't know. Do we need to? We don't need to compare him to somebody else. So he could just be John Moran.
Just enjoy it. Just celebrate it and root for the Grizzlies to overtake the Warriors, to claim the number 2 seed. I want to see the Grizz in the finals.
Grizzlies grind, baby.
Grizzlies in the finals. That would be amazing.
Exciting basketball.
Must
watch TV.
Speaking of must watch TV, let's move to what's happening in Philly right now. Please enlighten me, Justin. How's the experiment going so far?
Well, I think
what's it looking like?
I think when you average 40 free throws a game, I guess you probably score a lot of points.
Better settle in to Sixers games,
dude.
They're going to be long.
What's it look like? It looks like games that take 5 hours and you're just staring at free throws nonstop. It's insane. They got beat in, I think, every aspect of that game. In 2-pointers made, in 3-pointers made, in rebounds, in assists, in almost every metric that you judge a game by. But the free throws were like 40 some to like 15 or something insane. And you're like, well, I guess that would make a difference. Plus the other team missed like 12 free throws. So I just like, that's crazy.
So that's what you're chalking up these 2 wins so far, is just getting the dirty stripe and making free throws. Is that what you're saying, Justin?
Hey, all I know is that with the dominance of the Sixers that we're seeing right now just means that come playoff time, the harder Doc Rivers knocks on the door that awaits their downfall. And I will be there to savor it all. I really like Embiid. I really don't like James Harden. And so it makes rooting against them a little easier because I like to root for Embiid because I like him. But he has, who I would say would be number 1 in the MVP, and Ja probably number 2 at the moment, roughly.
Not Nikola? No love for Nikola.
Well, there's plenty of love for Nikola. I mean, that pass that he had, just like defying the law, like everything we were ever taught in high school physics was a lie. That's all there is to it. And I will accept nothing less. That is my new truth. So, yeah, Philly looks good. I feel as though I was personally attacked for the James Harden trade take. I never said they shouldn't get James Harden. I just said that they could get him for much less just next season. And as you and I have discussed at length, the East is extremely wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they could have come out of the East without getting him this year. Nobody said that Seth Curry is the key to a championship, just that he is a valuable piece that I would not have wanted to give up. So I'm not saying that James Harden being in Philly is a bad thing. I'm saying they could have got him just next year and not have given up half of what they lost in order to make the cap space for him work. So
I think what you're trying to say, Justin, is you're still you're still thinking that they went all in on this season, winning it all this season, and that may not pan out. And they may have shot themselves in the foot by going all in this season instead of waiting to try to structure a better deal next season.
I don't want to see this. Well, actually, I do, because what do I care? I would love to see it blow up in everybody's faces, but I don't want to see it blow up in everybody's faces for the sake of all of a sudden this doesn't work out and Joel Embiid has nobody around him for the next 5 years. But if it works out, great. Harden stays in Philly, re-signs, stays healthy. They like each other and can coexist. Westbrook and Dwight Howard aren't the only people we didn't get along with. Just about everybody else. Chris Paul, ring a bell? Okay. What happened with the Nets experiment?
So I still feel like you're kind of throwing you're dousing the flames a little bit on the Sixers, and I want to be optimistic here, Justin. I want to say the Sixers have made these last 2 wins. Now the Knicks game was actually ended up being closer down the stretch than the Wolves game, but they're getting open looks. They're making it look pretty easy, and it seems like they're enjoying it a lot more in the process. What I like seeing as a fan of, I would love to see the Sixers. I'd love to see Joel get a championship, but I love seeing on the stat line that it is not all on, there's not as much of a weight on Joel's shoulders anymore. With this roster, they've got you're going to get 20 plus from Joel and Harden, but they have Maxey stepping up, knocking down shots. They've got Tybal flying in for some putback dunks, and he's cleaning up on the boards. He's getting points. I like that they've got more space.
One of the best defenders in the league.
And we can't forget about Danny Green either. Still a key piece. Icy hot himself.
Come on, bro.
3 and D. And what could be, his last before he's a journeyman veteran around the league. But
Is he not a journeyman veteran around the league?
Well, this is what,
already
third season with the Sixers. He's entering into that territory where he's going to be on these 1-year contracts and just bounce around between 3 or 4 teams before he.
I thought he did that. I thought he did that already. Was that his mid NBA career crisis?
I think so. Yeah, but before he landed in Philly. But all I'm saying, Justin, is I am choosing to be optimistic. I like what I see so far. I like what I'm hearing from these players, and I want to see the Sixers just absolutely destroy the rest of the season.
Are they the best team in the East?
Are the Sixers the best team in the East? Not yet. But I think they will round into dangerous form come playoffs. So what I mean by that is right now, I think they're gonna have to work out some kinks in terms of spacing, in terms of just finding different rosters. I think teams that have size to match up against Embiid a little bit better can create some problems. So I think that they're still we've got 20 games left in the season. I could see them going I'm going to say that they finish 14-6, 14 wins, 6 losses to round out the season. And I think but come playoffs, yeah, they're going to be the best team in the East.
Sixers win the East.
Yeah, I'm going all in, man. All in on the Sixers squad.
All right.
I am trusting the process. I'm putting all the chips on the table here. I'm trusting the process, baby, and hoping that Harden or Embiid doesn't let me down. Because Doc Rivers
They
will.
might not, because
It's gonna be
Doc
Doc
is
Rivers.
definitely going to.
Doc
So,
Rivers is gonna bomb him out again. Ugh. With some just knucklehead calls or like roster switches in a fourth quarter when they fall apart.
Dude, I can't wait
Oh.
for the knock knock, here comes Doc meme. That's my favorite NBA meme of all time.
You're just ready to dust that thing off, man.
Dude.
So I'm curious to hear what you think. Who's the best team in the East? It's wide open, man. It really is.
It is. There's been something going all year that I just have not been able to say anybody is better than Milwaukee. And I know that they've had some struggles, haven't played like up to expectations in terms of just dominating the conference. I feel like they're going to be an extremely tough team for anybody to beat in a 7-game series. And I would just absolutely love to see Giannis and Embiid just go 7 games, just a total bloodbath. And like, dude, the trash talk from Embiid, and dude, basketball gods.
Chris Middleton going at it with James Harden.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday in there.
Switching them two on and off on Harden.
Bobby Portis bringing that juice off the bench.
I only wish PJ Tucker stuck around just so that he could guard James Harden in the playoffs, because we still might get that with the Miami Heat. But dude, you deprived us of a prime Kobe LeBron matchup because they were in opposite conferences and could not get to the finals together. Please give me a prime, dude. Imagine Giannis, back-to-back MVPs, finals MVP, reigning champs, Milwaukee Bucks, against first-time MVP Joel Embiid, the two biggest, baddest men in the NBA, for 7 games.
Dude, I'm getting chills. That would be. We've had such lackluster Eastern Conference Finals, right? Like I feel like the last few haven't really been close at all. So that would be such a series. We're both pulling so hard for that. Sixers Bucks Eastern Conference slugfest.
I don't care what round it is, because I don't know how they're going to line up in terms of the seeding. I don't know if there's any way for them to avoid each other till the conference finals. I just want to see it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, we're both in total agreement just how wide open Eastern Conference is. Let me go through the standings real quick here. We got the Heat.
Yes. Hold on.
Yeah.
To that point of why I asked you, are they the best team in the East? I think that the Bucks and Philly are the top 2 teams in the East. I think the Bucks are 1. I think 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, I would have said Milwaukee and Philly are the 2 best teams in the East. So that is my big justification as to, I don't think that this necessarily makes them the clear favorite. I think they still, one of those 2 teams was going to come out of the East no matter what, and that you don't have to give up half of what you did to have this guy added to your team next year. So,
but what I will say, what's going to be very interesting to track in the next few weeks here, there's going to be so much jockeying for seeding in the East. Like we can have a scenario in 2 weeks where the Sixers are 1 to 2 games out of the 1 seed, or they are the 1 seed, but they're hanging on by, a game and a half. there's going to be
Or they're
so
the
much.
8th seed. Like that's how close it is. Like,
Yeah. So it's going to be, I feel like so many of these teams in the East are going to be, they're going to be pushing it so hard to close out the regular season, because it could mean the difference between 3 or 6. And in the West, you know, I feel like we kind of know the top 3 teams, top 4 teams, and generally where that seeding is going to be. 5, 6, 7, 8. Who knows, you know, who's going to land in there. But yeah, Eastern Conference is going to be quite a wild race to watch as we finish. What you got?
no, I agree.
It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Like the Nets fighting for, we got the Nets fighting for a playoff position, fighting to avoid the play-in, being in the position where they've got to play in. We've got, you know, the streaking Celtics trying to climb up higher than 6. The Cavs trying to prove the haters wrong and show that they actually deserve a spot. You know,
It'd be helpful if their all-star point guard played games. He missed half the game. He missed 3 games, 4 games leading up to the all-star break, played in all the all-star activities, and then has not played since. Darius Garland, where are you? You got to play, bro.
Is he healthy?
The race is too tight. He's out with a sore back.
Okay. He's taking his time then, coming back.
Well, how did you play in all of the all-star stuff? Like 3 different nights of activities you were involved in. And now
had to represent the homeland, had to represent the city. Talking about a team that is not representing their city well, we're jumping over to the Western Conference. This is where I want to close tonight, is just taking a moment to celebrate or mourn, depending on which side of the coin you fall. How low will the Lakers go in the Western Conference? Are they done? Is this the end of the Lakers roster as we know it? There's all sorts of talk about, you know, AD might not be around. Is LeBron going to stick around? What is happening in LA?
I think it was the end of the Lakers roster as we know it before the season started, and they traded all of the Lakers roster to get Russell Westbrook. Now they've waived DeAndre Jordan and some other guy that no one ever heard of to pick up DJ Augustine and some other guy nobody's ever heard of in an attempt to be, I don't know what, but it's just, I have no idea. I don't know where they go from here. I don't think any 3 of those guys have an opt-out clause. I don't think they can get out of there without being traded. And Westbrook is an untradeable contract and player at the moment, it seems. Anthony Davis is never healthy. So a return for him would be absolutely minimal. And the only guy who has any value in a trade is LeBron James. And do you say, I'll trade somebody LeBron for 1 year just to get some future of a roster in LA back? Some assets anywhere? It would make sense for the Lakers to do that because LeBron's not a Laker guy. The Lakers, he won a championship, but it seems like forever ago. And it seems like Lakers fans are never going to hold him with other Laker greats because he didn't spend a large chunk of his career there. He came there later on.
He bummed the ride into LA. He totally did.
Well, I mean, he was driving the bus to the championship, but he's not going to go down in terms of Laker fandom as a Laker legend and a great. He's, you know, I can't imagine they would retire his jersey for 4 or 5 years or whatever he ends up playing there. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they will, just because they're LA.
try and claim that they had LeBron James as, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I always thought it was a weird move to go to the Lakers. Because I feel like, not that they were like disliked each other, but they were seen as rivals, Kobe and LeBron, for so long, so much of their careers. And then he goes there. Laker fans were never going to endear to him as any of the other Lakers legends. And that's,
It's fine.
a reasonable take. So I just don't think that, like, I think it would make sense for the Lakers to try and trade him in the offseason.
Yeah.
It seems ridiculous. He could win the scoring title and you're just like, but
and not in the playoffs.
I don't think they have any other moves,
Uh-huh.
right? I just don't think that they have anything they can do other than to stand pat and try and do it again next year with minimal changes for role players.
So then, we'll end here. Talk about the best team in the East, best team in the West, Suns. You see anyone else challenging the Suns
for the number 1 seed, or
just
to go to the finals?
Best team coming out of the West.
Not really. If Chris Paul comes back healthy, I don't see why they don't go back to the finals this year. I was really bullish on them last year because I think they got aided by injuries in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. But they've backed it up all year long. So, I mean, barring any injuries, I don't see why they don't get back. It seems as though a chunk of the West, who I thought was more competitive, has taken some steps back.
Or
definitely thought
some pretty serious injuries.
Yeah, I definitely thought Dallas was going to keep improving, and they seem to have taken some steps back. I know they're your dark horse, but they have a roster full of people that people don't know who they are. So it's a star-driven league, and if you have one guy, he can only do so much. That you need at least somebody else that's recognizable. I don't know. The Warriors, I just don't want to think about that as a scenario.
Still a little streaky.
Still in and out of the lineup. Draymond Green still is not playing. Curry has been inconsistent and is not shooting as well as people want to make it seem like he is. Memphis could be that threat, but they haven't done it before. But Phoenix didn't the year before, so there's nothing to say that they can't this year. Jamal Murray coming back for Denver would be huge, and I think would really boost them. Obviously, the Jazz are fraudulent, so I'm not worried about that. But
the Jazz get no respect from you. No respect whatsoever. So I want to go back to the Suns. I think you made a good comparison earlier when we were talking about the Bucks in the East. To me, the Suns are very similar. Unlike the Bucks in the East, I don't see any team, catching the Suns for number 1 seed right now. But they've largely got the same roster, same coaching staff. They know what it's like to make a deep run. I mean, they were in the finals last year. I see them building exactly on that. To me, they have the most linear path towards the Western Conference Finals and towards the finals in general, because of, I think, where this roster is, where they've been, and just how well they're playing over the course of the regular season. I feel like they've got enough of that cushion in the first seed where they don't have to sprint into the playoffs. They can rest guys. They don't have to, they're not going to be jockeying. And I think they're going to be in a great spot to make a long run and a deep run in the Western Conference.
Agreed.
All right, man. That's all I got, brother.
Sounds good.
Well,
Another feisty episode. I have some stats here that I wrote down that I forgot to bring up, but not that you could see it. I see through paper.
it's missing, just like Zion.
Yes. Have you seen? Call this number. 2-point field goal percentage for the career, 56%. 0 to 3 feet, which I believe is considered the low post dominance, 71.5%. And 3 feet to 10 feet, 41%. So I just want to say one time where you get scared and don't dunk the ball because you're wide open and you pass it out does not mean you are not a dominant low post presence. So,
however, it wasn't just that it happened once, it was when it happened.
Well,
when all the spotlight was on him, when everything, when it all mattered, when it was all on the line, that happened. You know, we got to talk about this for a second, and I'm sure our one listener will endear us a few more minutes here. Who's going to be under more criticism and pressure now that James Harden has played so exceptionally well for the Sixers? Who's under the gun more, Ben Simmons or James Harden? It's pretty clear to me.
I feel like I could agree with you, but the success from James Harden, if it doesn't pan out in the playoffs, like so many of those Houston runs, the amount of criticism that is coming down upon him will be, I think, quite large. Nobody cares about basketball in Brooklyn, especially people that live in Brooklyn. They could care less about the Brooklyn Nets.
Especially for a team that may not even make the playoffs.
They are a dysfunctional family and unit, and who the heck knows what's going on there. I don't know. Are they going to protect him and hold him out until after they play in Philly? Probably, because, well,
it's his weakened mental state.
It's clear he's a coward along with the rest of them. But maybe he could play in Utah and just go unnoticed like the rest of those players. But
and put up one of the best records in the West in the process.
Hey, while we're bringing things up, just another guy that's been relocated due to witness protection. You got your ear on the ground, longtime friend of yours. What are you hearing on the streets about Kawhi Leonard?
Kawhi Leonard.
He's ill forgotten. And the only reason I brought him up is because I was thinking about that Philly team that just got their souls crushed when the ball triple bounced on the rim from the corner.
And Joel in full tears, like embracing his girlfriend in the tunnel afterwards, just bawling like a man child. Oh, I have no idea where Kawhi is, what he's doing. I could care less about Kawhi. No idea. I don't really care at all. Clippers aren't going anywhere. Anytime. I don't even know where Paul George is either. All of LA is just a hot mess.
It's just an abandonment. They've just
it's just a homeless camp. Like
they got to LA and they thought, wow, the weather's nice here. I don't even have to go to work. You just
Kawhi's probably like in Brooklyn rehabbing with his uncle. Who knows? Where Kawhi is? Maybe he's hanging out.
Maybe he was rehabbing in Canada and couldn't get out because the truckers blockaded everything.
Stuck with a convoy. But I mean, this is what Kawhi wants. He wants to fly. He's that stealth bomber. He just wants to fly under the radar. Nobody notices him. And
except for the giant billboards that said this was my town or whatever.
he just plays that like anti-hero role where he'll go to a franchise, try to win him a championship, leave like in the weirdest of way.
I think I saw that he was filming the next Michael Bay movie. James Gunn, Michael Bay.
A Transformer.
Yeah,
he's on the next
Transformers
Transformer movie. That would actually be quite appropriate because he is a robot. So that would be a great role for him.
Or was he in the remake of I, Robot with Will Smith, with Jaden Smith? Jaden Smith and Kawhi star in I, Robot 2.
Transformer edition. Yeah.
Wall-E 3.
Koali.
Kawali 3PO.
On that note,
Right,
we're gonna go silently into the night, just like our main man, Kawhi Leonard.
Peace, love, Taco Bell.
Live
Yo
Mas.
quiero Taco Ball.
Adios.